Arsenal have just beaten Manchester United 3-2 at home to stay 5 points clear at the top of the table. As a United fan, I have to say I'm absolutely gutted with that last-minute goal from Eddie Nketiah, but I can say this without hesitation. Arsenal deserved to win that game. They probably didn't dominate us as much as they would have liked, but they were clearly the better team. For the neutral fan, this was probably the best game of the season. A clear throwback to the times of Sir Alex and Wenger when both these teams were good. Now let's get straight into it by analyzing how both teams played in possession, but first, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Arsenal started in a 4-3-3 but played a 2-3-3-2 with Saka and Nketiah pressing the two United center backs, and we can see a line of three between Martinelli, Xhaka and Odegaard in the midfield behind them. As we play along, we see that McTominay gets pressed in midfield, who plays a ball out to Luke Shaw, and we'll pause it here for a second to notice how Xhaka and Odegaard have been tasked with pressing the two CDMs of Man United, which is Eriksen and McTominay. As this ball gets played out to Luke Shaw, you can notice that Xhaka tries to press him, and there's no real easy pass for Shaw to play out, right? Yes, he can try to go back to McTominay, but the angle is tight with Xhaka already approaching him, and the passing lane to Eriksen's already blocked off by Odegaard. So we see Luke Shaw gets kind of into trouble in this possession, and he actually kicks the ball off Xhaka out for a throw-in. And it's not just their pressing that's been impressive this season, as their passing and movement off the ball has also been impeccable. In this clip, we see Partey getting pressed by three United players. The only outball seems to be to Saka in this area here. So he plays it to Saka and moves in between these two United players to create this space that didn't exist a second ago. He then receives the ball back from Saka and plays it infield, where Odegaard receives it and plays it out to Zinchenko on the left wing. When Zinchenko receives it, Antony's already behind him, which means he has space and time to play an easy ball into Martinelli in behind Wan-Bissaka, and that's exactly what he does. As Martinelli receives it, he cuts it back to Odegaard, who skies a shot or mistimes a shot on his left foot, which you won't really expect in the form that he's been in. So just inside 2 minutes, Arsenal could have technically been 1-0 up because of the speed and the pace at which they start games. Here we see another example of Arsenal's fast start. They take a short corner, which is defended by Bruno, Eriksen, and Antony. As we play forward a bit, we can see that Bruno's on Martinelli, Antony's on Odegaard, and Eriksen's on Zinchenko. The key thing to pay attention to here is that Rashford has left Xhaka completely unmarked, so there's 4 Arsenal players in this area around the 3 Man United players there. As we play forward a bit, we can notice that Martinelli and Odegaard come short, which pulls Bruno and Antony out of position, and that leaves a ton of room in behind for Xhaka to run into. And again, Rashford is not marking Xhaka. So the ball gets played into Xhaka in this space. He gets in there and puts in an easy cutback for Partey, and Partey shoots it wide of the net. And this is the second scoring opportunity in the first 3 minutes for Arsenal. So they could have been 2-0 up, but at least 1-0 up if one of them got it right. It's pretty common knowledge at this point that Odegaard has been in scintillating form this season, but most of the praise has been for his play on the ball. In this game, his pressing and tackling off the ball impressed me more than anything else. As we play the clip, we see Wout Weghorst being pressed by Partey in this area, and he passes it to Bruno infield. After receiving it, Bruno looks up to see Antony on the right wing, and he wants to play a crossfield ball to put him in behind. Odegaard senses the danger and tackles Bruno from behind and gets ready to start a counterattack, where Arsenal are 4v4. He gets to the edge of the box and plays a really nice reverse pass to Martinelli, whose shot is then blocked. From this play, we see the value of Odegaard to the Arsenal team. He is definitely their captain. He just put in a tackle, started a counterattack, and almost got an assist if Martinelli had put the ball in the net. Amazing player. Next, we're taking a look at the Rashford goal, who's another player in scintillating form this season. And what a goal this was. Saka picks up the ball in his own half and gets pressed by Eriksen, Shaw, and Rashford. So he passes the ball back to Thomas Partey. Partey tries to find Ben White on the overlap here, but the pass is intercepted by Rashford. And as we play further, Rashford gets the ball back from Bruno, and here's where his magic starts. He does a nice body feint to get past him, gets towards the edge of the box, and absolutely lasers one into the bottom corner. And Ramsdale has absolutely no chance to stop this goal. What a world-class effort. Up to this point in the game, Arsenal have been dominating possession and have created more chances than Man United. But they still find themselves one goal down because of Rashford's individual brilliance that pretty much came out of nowhere. Arsenal don't let this pressure of being 1-0 down get to them, and in the 23rd minute, they create their first goal, which is the Nketiah header at the back post. As Odegaard picks up the ball at the edge of the box, he sees Xhaka in front of him and the space in front of Xhaka, so he plays the ball in behind. As Xhaka is about to play the cross, notice how Nketiah is behind Aaron Wan-Bissaka in this space here. Just as Xhaka hits it, Nketiah is already on the move on the outside of Wan-Bissaka to get in front of him and be the first one to the ball, while Wan-Bissaka doesn't notice this and still thinks that Nketiah is in the space that he was 2 seconds ago. As we play the clip, we see Nketiah leaping for the ball and scoring the goal with a free header, and it's 1-1. As a Man United fan, Aaron Wan-Bissaka losing his man on the back post is nothing new. His defensive awareness in these situations just seems to be non-existent, as he tends to ball watch instead of mark his man. Just 2 games ago, Man City got their first goal because Aaron Wan-Bissaka was not marking Grealish at the back post in this area here. And this was the worst possible time for Man United to concede, as we're somehow 1-0 up away from home and looking to get to halftime with that scoreline. So we get to halftime 1-1, and in the second half, Arsenal seem to be growing even more into the game, which is expected when they're the best team in the league and they're playing at home. In the 52nd minute, Zinchenko picks up the ball in midfield and plays it to Saka. Saka moves towards Arsenal's right and plays it to Tomiyasu, who's overlapping him. Because of the overlap, Shaw actually has to mark Tomiyasu, and Eriksen is on Saka. As we play further, Saka gets it back from Tomiyasu, dribbles infield, and drops his shoulders to get a few yards away from Eriksen. He then shoots the ball from 25 yards out, and De Gea has absolutely no chance to save it, much like Ramsdale for the Rashford goal. This was Saka's 3rd goal in 3 consecutive games versus Man United, and him and Rashford were definitely having a competition for who can score the better goal. For me, I think Rashford scored the better goal, but I'm obviously biased, so get in the comments down below with who you think had the better goal today. And finally, we look at what United got wrong today and why this game got away from them. And the Shaw versus Saka battle was a big problem for Erik Ten Hag. We see Saka receiving the ball on the right wing and notice how much space he's in. Given how well he's been playing this season, you'd think Rashford would offer to help Shaw a lot more and double up on him occasionally, but he never seemed to do that this game. As we play the clip further, look how far Shaw runs back into his own box and allows Saka to go from this area here to here without putting any pressure on him. In fact, Saka has so much time and space on the ball that he can easily pick out Nketiah inside the box and Nketiah gets a shot off. There's absolutely no way that Erik Ten Hag planned this as a tactic for Shaw to keep giving Saka space and time on the ball inside the box. Once again, we see Saka receiving the ball in tons of space. This time, Rashford is not even in the picture. And again, Saka gets deep into the box and is allowed to shoot on goal. The ball eventually comes back to Saka and he gets a second shot on goal this time, again facing off against Shaw. The ball then deflects a few times in the box and comes back to Saka for a 3rd time for Saka to shoot a 3rd time on goal. Surely this can't be tactics to have Shaw back off from Saka, right? Surely the best thing for Shaw is to stay closer and tackle him outside the box perhaps, or maybe even have a second man come and help Shaw. I really don't understand the tactics from Ten Hag or the application of those tactics from Shaw in this game. Here again, we see Saka receiving the ball on the wing and he's about to make the exact same move. Shaw backs down deep into his own box, giving Saka a few yards of space at all times, and he has so much space and time that he picks out Nketiah again, who gets off another shot inside the box. I can't believe my eyes. With our 4th and final clip, we see Saka getting even more space inside the box, but this time because of Christian Eriksen. Saka picks up the ball on the wing and he drives at Shaw. This time Odegaard is overlapping past Saka, which takes Luke Shaw away from Saka, and Eriksen is the one that has to mark him. This makes it even easier for Saka to find space inside the box and shoot. He almost creates a carbon copy of the first goal that he scored, leaving De Gea in no man's land. And my key takeaway from these 4 clips is that Rashford needs to help out defensively when we play against wingers that are in form. Eriksen is not great defensively because it's just not his game. And we really missed Casemiro in this game. He would have been on Saka's side for this game to help in all of these situations, and maybe we don't concede one of the goals that we conceded today. All in all, I was thoroughly entertained by this game. Probably for the first time in a long time, I wasn't that upset that Man United lost this game because I felt like we left it all on the pitch. I saw passion, desire, and effort from all 11 players, and considering we just played the best team in the league at home, 3-2 is not the worst result in the world. Arteta and the Arsenal players deserve massive praise for how well they've been playing this season, and I honestly hope they win the league this year because they deserve it. Please take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.